Okay, let's get started. First things first, let's separate 3 egg yolks from 3 egg whites. Today we're only going to use the egg yolks, so feel free to do whatever you want with the egg whites. Just don't waste them. Now, the reason I'm using this method of separating the egg yolks is because I do not like the method where you use the shells, because sometimes it catches onto the shell and it breaks, and it's just a sad, disappointing mess. Next you're gonna have to pour in sugar and cornstarch. Cornstarch is pretty important in custard because it helps the thing curdle. And you're gonna wanna mix it till it's sort of like a lemony, curdy type of texture. It looks cool. Then you're gonna have to pour milk into a pot and bring it to a simmer. Not a boil, a simmer on medium-low heat. You don't want it to boil, you just want it to be hot enough to melt the sugar. Like I am doing now, you're gonna want to put it into the egg yolk mixture little by little and mix it till it's sort of melted, incorporated, and then put it back into the pot. Like so. Then you're gonna put it back on medium-low heat or medium-high heat, doesn't matter. You're gonna want to keep on whisking, add a little vanilla essence, keep on whisking, have faith, and do not stop, because it will curdle sooner or later. It's gonna take some time. Just sit back and whisk. Pour it in a separate bowl for it to chill in the fridge and to prevent the skin from forming, put a plastic wrap directly on top of it. For the dough, put water, sugar, salt, and butter all into one pot. And then bring it to a rolling boil. Unlike the milk, you're gonna need it rolling, boiling. Shit happens, all that bubble. But before that, you're gonna wanna put your flour out, because after it's done boiling, you're gonna have to immediately put the flour into it and mix. Once it's done rolling, boiling, you're gonna take it off the heat, put it on the counter, use a wooden spatula or a spoon, and tap it 2 times on the pot for luck. Add in your flour and mix. It's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some strength, but good things take time, and it's gonna come to a doughy texture. Then add 3 eggs. It's gonna look a little weird at first, but trust in the process, it'll all come together. Then get your homemade piping bag. Now, what's a homemade piping bag? Basically, it's a Ziploc bag, a plastic piping tape from Mr. DIY, and masking tape so that nothing falls apart. Then you're gonna put the dough into the piping bag and pipe it onto parchment-lined trays. Here's a time lapse with comforting music in the background.
Gobble me, swallow me, drip down inside of me. Quick jump out for you, let it get inside of me. I tell them where to put it, never tell them where I'm about to be. I run down on them before I have a nigga running me. Talk your shit, bite your lip, ask for a call while you ride.
While it's baking, you're gonna take out the custard that you chilled. It's gonna look a little gelatinous at first, so you gotta whisk it a little bit to wake it up. Now, I didn't film it, but I put in 50 grams of whipped cream, and I totally regret it. Do not make my mistake. It is absolutely not worth it. It makes it so liquidy and it's not pipeable. I'm straight up not having a good time. So put it in the piping bag, I guess. I don't know. Now, once the puffs are done baking, they should look a little something like this. It looks hella rad. It looks really cool. Now, there are 2 methods to pipe on your custard. You could cut it and then pipe into it. But since my custard is so liquidy, it didn't look right. It kept oozing out, and it's not nice. I don't like it. I don't. Method 2, however, is a method that I love. You take a chopstick or a stick, you just stick a hole into a puff, and then take a small piping tip and pipe into the puff. Now, the downside to this is that you don't know how much cream or how less cream you're gonna put into the puff, but you know what? That's a gamble I'm willing to take. Smooth transition. Then you're gonna powder some icing sugar on top of it, and voila, you're done. Thank you so much for watching this mess of a voiceover. Try out the recipe because it's scrumptious.